Dennis Hopper and Peter Fonda didn't just ride motorcycles in Easy Rider. They rode cultural icons that would define an entire era. But bikes built when only two appeared on screen. How did a $10,000 budget bike end up influencing a billion-dollar industry? And what's the truth behind the mystery of the stolen Captain America? These are 20 weird facts about Easy Rider's Harley-Davidson choppers that will blow your mind. From backyard builds to Hollywood betrayals, these revelations will change everything you thought you knew about the most famous motorcycles ever filmed. So buckle up, hit that like button if you love motorcycle history, and let's ride into the strange world of Easy Rider's choppers. Number 20. 4 bikes were built, and not 2. Here's something that shocks most Easy Rider fans. They didn't build 2 choppers for the film, they built 4. Captain America and Billy Bike each had a backup. The production couldn't risk a single breakdown that would shut down filming. Dennis Hopper was directing his first feature film with a shoestring budget and an impossible schedule. Losing a day to mechanical failure meant financial disaster. Cliff Voss and Ben Hardy built all 4 bikes in Voss's Los Angeles shop over 6 intense weeks. 2 Captain Americas were identical down to the last detail. Both featured the famous stars and stripes paint on the teardrop tank. Both had extended Springer front ends and raked frames. The Billy bikes matched each other perfectly too. The backup bikes weren't just rolling props. They were fully functional motorcycles ready to swap in at a moment's notice. During the famous highway sequences, both sets of bikes were on location. If the hero bikes developed problems, cameras kept rolling with the backups. Most viewers never knew they were watching different motorcycles between shots. The strategy worked brilliantly until someone decided the extra bikes were worth more stolen than stored. Number 19. The bikes cost $10,000.
You've been riding. Because in the film, part of the pivotal, one of the climatic scenes is
Total $10,000. That's what the entire motorcycle budget covered, not per bike. Total. For all 4 choppers, parts, labor, and modifications. In 1969, that was tight but doable. Today, a screen-accurate Captain America replica costs over $300,000 to build correctly. Cliff Voss worked miracles with that limited budget. He sourced used 1950s Harley-Davidson panhead engines because new ones were too expensive. The frames came from police auction bikes, junkers nobody wanted. Voss cut, stretched, and raked them by hand. The famous extended forks were custom fabricated from scratch. Chrome plating ate up a huge chunk of the budget. Everything visible had to shine. The cameras would highlight every detail. Voss negotiated deals with parts suppliers, trading future promotion for current discounts. Some suppliers gave parts for free, hoping the film would boost their businesses. It worked beyond anyone's wildest dreams. After Easy Rider exploded, those same suppliers became millionaires selling chopper parts. The paint jobs were done cheaply too. A local custom painter named Larry Fuhrer did the Captain America stars and stripes for $500. He spent more time on it than he was paid for because he believed in the project. That $500 paint job became the most reproduced motorcycle design in history. Number 18. Peter Fonda designed Captain America himself. Peter Fonda wasn't just the star and producer, he was the actual designer of Captain America. Before filming started, Fonda sketched his vision on napkins at a Los Angeles diner. He wanted something that screamed American freedom and rebellion. The stars and stripes weren't subtle. They were confrontational. This was 1968 America, torn apart by Vietnam and civil rights struggles. Fonda's design made a political statement. The extended forks came from his obsession with the radical choppers he'd seen cruising Sunset Boulevard. He wanted the most extreme rake possible, something that looked dangerous and beautiful. Cliff Voss warned him the bike would be difficult to handle. Fonda didn't care. He wanted visual impact over practicality. The chrome sissy bar, the extended front end, the raked frame, all Fonda's specifications. He even chose the specific shade of red, white, and blue. The teardrop tank shape was his idea too. Fonda studied photos of custom bikes for months before filming. He knew exactly what he wanted. When Vaughn delivered the finished Captain America, Fonda cried. It was exactly what he'd envisioned. The bike became his character's soul. Wyatt's journey across America needed a machine that embodied that freedom. Fonda's design achieved something most movie props never do. It became more famous than the film itself. Number 17, the bikes were nearly impossible to ride. Those beautiful extended forks created a nightmare for actual riding. The extreme rake made the bikes incredibly unstable at low speeds. Peter Fonda and Dennis Hopper spent weeks learning to control them before filming started. Normal motorcycles lean into turns. These choppers required completely different techniques. The long wheelbase meant wide, sweeping turns. Tight corners were nearly impossible. The bikes wanted to go straight and fast. Anything else fought their geometry. The high handlebars, called ape hangers, created leverage problems. Your arms were extended overhead, reducing control. Highway speeds felt great. The bikes were stable and smooth once rolling, but parking lots, stop signs, and slow riding were terrifying. Hopper crashed his bike twice during practice runs. Minor damage, but it scared the production accountants. They couldn't afford injuries or major repairs. Stunt coordinator Tex Hall considered using professional motorcycle riders for some scenes. Hopper refused. He insisted on authenticity. If he couldn't ride the bike himself, the film wouldn't work. So he practiced obsessively, hours every day, mastering the chopper's quirky handling. Fonda had more natural ability with motorcycles, but even he struggled initially. The famous highway scenes look effortless on screen. Behind the beauty were hundreds of miles of practice and dozens of near crashes that never made the final cut. Number 16. Dennis Hopper hated motorcycles. Here's the ultimate irony. Dennis Hopper, who directed and starred in the most influential motorcycle film ever made, absolutely hated motorcycles. He'd never ridden one before Easy Rider. He only learned because the role demanded it. Hopper was terrified of the bikes throughout the entire production. His fear shows in certain scenes, if you know what to look for. Watch his body language during riding shots. He's tense, gripping the handlebars too tightly. Peter Fonda noticed immediately and tried teaching him to relax. Hopper couldn't. Every ride was an exercise in controlled panic. He never told the crew about his fear. He knew they'd lose confidence in his direction. A director who's scared of his own movie's central element isn't inspiring. So, Hopper faked it. He acted tough, pretended the bikes were no big deal. Inside, he was counting the minutes until he could get off that chopper. After filming wrapped, Hopper never rode a motorcycle again. Not once. He sold his Billy bike immediately and refused to keep it as a memento. Friends offered to take him riding to celebrate the film's success. Hopper always declined. In interviews decades later, he'd laugh about his fear, but you could see it was genuine. The man who made motorcycles cool for a generation thought they were death machines. Sometimes the best performances come from conquering your deepest fears. Hafer's terror made his riding scenes more intense because every moment was a real danger for him. Number 15. The Captain America was stolen and never recovered. The original Captain America chopper, the hero bike Peter Fonda actually rode, disappeared in 1970. Someone stole it from a storage facility in Los Angeles. Despite massive publicity and a $50,000 reward, it never surfaced. The theft remains one of Hollywood's greatest unsolved mysteries. Theories abound about what happened. Some believe a collector hid it in a private garage, terrified to reveal ownership. Others think it was stripped for parts, destroyed before anyone realized its value. The most popular theory suggests it left the country immediately. Maybe it's in a European collection or a Japanese museum under a fake identity. The FBI investigated briefly, but found nothing. No leads, no witnesses, no evidence. The bike simply vanished. Dan Haggerty, who worked on the film, claimed he bought the Captain America and Billy bike after production. He later said both were stolen from his garage. His story changed multiple times over the years, raising investigators' suspicions. Was Haggerty the victim or somehow involved? Nobody knows. The mystery deepened when alleged Captain America bikes started appearing at auctions. Each claimed authenticity. Each was proven fake. Experts examined frames, engines, and paint. Nothing matched the original specifications. The real Captain America is either hidden so well it'll never be found, or it was destroyed decades ago. Either way, the most famous motorcycle in cinema history exists now only in film and photographs. Number 14. The frames were stretched. 12 inches. Cliff Voss didn't just modify stock Harley frames, he completely reimagined them. Each frame was cut, stretched 12 inches, and welded back together. This wasn't a simple bolt-on modification. This was serious metal fabrication requiring expert skill. The stretch lengthened the wheelbase, creating that low, long profile that choppers became famous for. But stretching a frame creates massive engineering challenges. The stress points change completely. Weight distribution shifts. Handling characteristics transform. Voss had to reinforce everything. He added gussets, doubled welds, and used stronger steel in critical areas. The stretch frames also required custom seats, fenders, and exhaust systems. Nothing from a stock Harley fit anymore. Every component was handmade or heavily modified. The stretch made the bikes look incredible on camera. They appeared to flow endlessly, like chrome rivers on wheels. But it created maintenance nightmares. The stressed frames developed cracks during the brutal filming schedule. Cross-country riding on 1960s highways meant constant punishment. Potholes, railroad tracks, rough pavement, everything hit harder on the modified frames. Voss traveled with the production, welding cracks every few days. He'd work overnight, reinforcing weak points, keeping the bikes running. The 12-inch stretch became the standard for custom choppers afterward. Every builder copied it. That specific measurement became gospel in the chopper world, all because Voss needed Peter Fonda's bike to look radically different from anything else on the road. Number 13, Larry Fuhrer painted them in his driveway. The iconic paint jobs weren't done in some professional custom shop. Larry Fuhrer painted both choppers in his suburban Los Angeles driveway. Neighbors thought he was crazy, spraying candy apple colors and metallic flames at all hours. Fuhrer was a local pinstriper who'd done some custom motorcycle work. Peter Fonda found him through a mutual friend and liked his portfolio. The Captain America design came directly from Fonda's sketches. Fuhrer refined it, adding the silver stars to the blue field and perfecting the stripe angles. He used automotive lacquer, laying down multiple candy coats for depth. Each color required several days of curing before he could mask and spray the next. The stars were hand-masked with automotive tapes and cut individually with an X-Acto knife. Fuhrer spent 18-hour days getting them perfect. The Billy Bike's flame job was easier technically, but still time-consuming. Fuhrer hand-painted the gold and orange flames, making each tongue unique. No stencils, no templates, pure freehand artistry. His wife brought him meals while he worked, hunched over the tanks in the California sun. The driveway paint jobs cost $500 per bike. Today, professional replicas cost $15,000 just for paint. Fuhrer never imagined his work would become legendary. He was just trying to make the deadline and pay his bills. After Easy Rider exploded, his phone rang constantly. Everyone wanted their bike painted like Captain America. Fuhrer became one of the most sought-after custom painters in America, all from a driveway job. Number 12. The Springer front ends were obsolete technology. Those beautiful extended Springer forks were already outdated by the time Easy Rider was filmed. Harley-Davidson had discontinued Springer front ends in 1949, switching to hydraulic telescopic forks. Springers were considered primitive, harsh-riding antiques, but chopper builders loved them for their look. The exposed springs, the elegant curves, the vintage mechanical beauty. Function didn't matter. Style was everything. Cliff Voss sourced original Springer forks from junkyards and swap meets. Finding good ones was tough. Most were rusted, bent, or broken after years of hard use. He'd buy 5 to build one good set. The Springers required extensive modification for the radical rake angles Fonda wanted. Stock Springers sat at maybe 30 degrees. The Easy Rider bike succeeded 45 degrees. At that angle, the springs couldn't handle the stress properly. They'd compress unevenly, making steering unpredictable. Voss had to fabricate custom spring sets and calculate the exact tension needed. Too soft, and the fork's bottom is out. Too stiff, and they transmitted every bump straight to the handlebars. He tested different spring rates for weeks before filming. The springs also needed lengthening. Voss added 12 inches to the fork tubes, dramatically extending them. This required precision welding and careful alignment. Misaligned forks would make the bike unrideable. The finished Springers looked magnificent, but rode terribly. Every bump, every imperfection in the road, is transferred directly to the rider. Comfort was sacrificed completely for aesthetics. That was the chopper philosophy. Suffer for style. Number 11, the engines were basically junkyard rescues. Peter Fonda rode a movie icon powered by what was essentially salvage junk. The panhead engines Cliff Vaughn used came from police auctions and junkyards. These weren't cherry vintage engines, carefully preserved. They were worn-out motors with hundreds of thousands of miles. Voss bought them for a few $100s each, then completely rebuilt them. He stripped every component, checking for damage and wear. Pistons were replaced. Cylinders were bored over size. Bearings, gaskets, seals, everything new. The crankshafts were balanced. The flywheels were true. What started as junkyard trash became reliable runners thanks to Voss' expertise. But reliability is relative. Panhead engines, even freshly rebuilt, were temperamental by modern standards. They leaked oil constantly. The generators were weak. The ignition systems were primitive. Voss carried spare parts everywhere during filming. He'd rebuild carburetors in motel parking lots. He'd adjust valves on roadside shoulders. The engines needed constant attention to keep running. Dennis Hopper learned to diagnose engine problems by sound: a missing cylinder, a slipping clutch, a failing generator. He could hear issues developing before they became catastrophic. The production schedule allowed no breakdowns. If an engine quit, Voss would swap it with a backup bike's motor overnight. He kept detailed logs of which engine was in which bike on which day. The junkyard panheads took abuse that no vintage engine should survive. Cross-country riding, constant starts and stops, hours idling between takes. They held together through sheer force of Voss's mechanical will. Number 10, the sissy bars. Were welded, not bolted. Notice those tall chrome sissy bars behind the seats? They weren't removable accessories. Cliff Voss welded them permanently to the frames. This was unusual. Most sissy bars are bolted on, allowing removal for different looks or passengers. Voss made them structural frame components instead. The welded sissy bars served multiple purposes beyond style. They reinforced the stretched frames, adding strength where it was needed most. The long, raked choppers flexed under stress. That 12-inch stretch created weak points. The sissy bars acted like roll cages, distributing stress across the frame. They also provided mounting points for cameras during filming. The crew attached equipment directly to the sissy bars for the following shots. Bolted bars would have loosened from vibration and fallen off. Welded bars stayed solid no matter what. Peter Fonda initially hated the sissy bar design. He thought they looked too flashy, too showy. He wanted a cleaner, more minimalist look. Voss convinced him the bikes needed them structurally. Without the sissy bars, the frames might crack under filming conditions. Fonda reluctantly agreed. Ironically, the welded sissy bars became one of Captain America's most recognizable features. Every replica includes them. Custom builders still debate the exact height and curve angles. The bars that Fonda almost rejected became as iconic as the Stars and Stripes paint job itself. Number 9, Dennis Hopper. Destroyed the film of the bikes burning. The film's ending shows the choppers engulfed in flames after the tragic shooting. But Dennis Hopper shot way more footage of those bikes burning than what appeared on screen. He filmed the destruction from every angle, almost obsessively. Multiple cameras captured the flames consuming Captain America and Billy Bike. Hopper kept the cameras rolling long after the bikes were unrecognizable. The crew thought he'd lost his mind. They'd just destroyed irreplaceable movie props, and Hopper was filming their charred remains. Later, during editing, Hopper cut 90% of that footage. He destroyed the outtakes personally, burning the film negatives. Nobody knows why. Some theorists suggest the footage was too disturbing, too real. Watching those beautiful machines burn felt like witnessing a murder. Others think Hopper regretted destroying the bikes and couldn't face the evidence. The footage that survived shows maybe 15 seconds of flames. Quick cuts, impressionistic rather than literal. You see fire, smoke, twisted chrome. Your brain fills in the rest. Hopper's editing created something more powerful than explicit destruction. The mystery of the destroyed footage haunts Easy Rider historians. What did those cameras capture? How completely did the bikes burn? Were they recognizable at the end? Did Hopper film himself crying as they burned? The editor who worked with Hopper claimed the footage was too heavy, man, too real. He understood why Hopper destroyed it. Some things are too painful to preserve. Number 8, the backup. Billy Bike survived. While Captain America disappeared forever, one Billy Bike survived intact. It's the backup bike, the one Dennis Hopper didn't ride in most scenes. After filming wrapped, it bounced between owners for decades. A prop warehouse stored it for years before selling it to a private collector in 1978. That collector had no idea what he'd bought. The bike sat in his garage, unridden, slowly deteriorating. In 1996, his son discovered paperwork proving its authenticity. Suddenly, Dad's old motorcycle was worth a fortune. The family contacted Dan Haggerty, who'd worked on the original bikes. Haggerty examined it closely and confirmed it was genuine. Every detail matched his memory. The frame stampings were correct. The engine numbers checked out. The modifications matched Cliff Voss's work exactly. The bike went to auction in 2014. Profiles in History sold it for $1.35 million. The winning bidder was a businessman who'd dreamed of owning a piece of Easy Rider since childhood. He immediately sent it for professional restoration. The restorers discovered amazing details. Original paint under later touch-ups. Cliff Voss's welding signatures in hidden spots. Even dirt from the filming locations is embedded in unreachable crevices. The restored Billy Bike now appears at museums and motorcycle shows. People stand in line for hours just to see it. Some cry when they get close. It's not just a motorcycle. It's a tangible connection to a film that defined a generation. Number 7. The Mardi Gras. A Israel scene damaged both bikes. The chaotic Mardi Gras sequence in New Orleans destroyed parts of both choppers, which were never properly fixed. The crew filmed during actual Mardi Gras, riding through massive crowds of drunk revelers. People grabbed at the bikes, climbed on them, and pushed them. Peter Fonda's Captain America took the worst abuse. Someone bent the front fender badly. Another person cracked the primary cover while trying to climb on the engine. The sissy bar got twisted when someone hung their full weight on it. Dennis Hopper's Billy Bike lost its taillight completely. Somebody ripped it off as a souvenir. The rear fender was creased by bodies falling against it. Both bikes leaked oil after that night from damaged cases and covers. Cliff Voss worked the next morning. He had hours, not days, to repair everything before they resumed filming. He straightened what he could, replaced what he couldn't. But some damage was permanent. Look carefully at post-Mardi Gras scenes. The fenders sit slightly differently. The chrome has new scratches. The bikes lost their pristine quality. They looked weathered, battle-scarred. Actually, this helped the film. The choppers were supposed to be ridden hard across America. A little damage added authenticity. Hopper loved the beaten look. He told Voss to stop trying to make them perfect. "Well, they're survivor bikes now," Hopper said. The Mardi Gras damage stayed for the rest of filming, adding character that the pristine bikes lacked. Number 6. The exhaust systems were illegal in every state. Those straight exhaust pipes looked incredible, but violated noise ordinances everywhere the production filmed. The bikes had no mufflers, no baffles, nothing to reduce sound. Pure open pipes from engine to atmosphere. Panhead engines with straight pipes are monumentally loud. Standing next to one at idle is painful. At highway speeds, they're deafening. Peter Fonda and Dennis Hopper wore earplugs during every riding scene. Without them, they'd have suffered permanent hearing damage. The sound crew hated the exhaust noise. It drowned out dialogue during riding scenes. They had to loop almost every line in post-production. Actors watched their lips move on screen and re-recorded every word. The bikes also constantly attracted police attention. Cops pulled them over repeatedly during location filming. Each time, production assistants had to explain that they were making a movie and show permits. Some officers didn't care. They wrote tickets anyway. The production paid thousands in fines for noise violations. In Louisiana, a state trooper threatened to impound both bikes. Only Dennis Hopper's charm and some cash persuaded him otherwise. After Easy Rider's success, cities nationwide cracked down on loud motorcycles. The Easy Rider effect led to stricter exhaust laws everywhere. Ironically, the film that celebrated motorcycle freedom inspired regulations restricting it. Those beautiful straight pipes became symbols of rebellion precisely because they were illegal. Breaking the law never sounded so good. Number 5, Peter Fonda kept riding his bike. A bite between takes bowl. While Dennis Hopper couldn't wait to get off his motorcycle, Peter Fonda was the opposite. Between takes, Fonda rode his Captain America constantly. During lunch breaks, he'd disappear for hours, cruising back roads alone. The production team worried he'd crash and shut down filming. Fonda didn't care. He'd fallen in love with the freedom those choppers represented. The character Wyatt was searching for, America, and Fonda was living it. He'd ride to small towns, stop at diners, and talk to locals while straddling his starred and striped chopper. Most people didn't recognize him. They just saw a long-haired guy on a wild motorcycle. Fonda collected stories from those rides. He met Vietnam vets, hippies, farmers, and truckers. Their stories influenced how he played Wyatt. The character's quiet contemplation came from Fonda's solo riding sessions. He'd think about America, freedom, what the film meant while the panhead rumbled beneath him. Dennis Hopper eventually forbade the solo rides. Too risky. Fonda ignored him. He'd sneak off anyway, unable to resist. The bike had become an addiction. Cliff Voss understood. He'd see Fonda return from rides with this peaceful expression. The motorcycle had given him something he needed. After filming ended, Fonda bought another chopper immediately. He rode regularly for years. Unlike Hopper, who never touched a motorcycle again, Fonda embraced the lifestyle completely. Captain America wasn't just a character. It became who Peter Fonda was. Number 4, Cliff Voss. Immediately regretted building them. Cliff Voss created the most influential custom motorcycles in history, and wished he hadn't. After Easy Rider exploded, choppers became a phenomenon. Every kid wanted one. Backyard builders started stretching frames, raking forks, and removing everything they could. The problem? Most of them had no idea what they were doing. Voss had decades of experience. He understood metallurgy, frame geometry, and stress points. He built bikes that were radical but functional. The imitators just copied the look. They created death traps, stretched frames that cracked, raked forks that caused death wobbles, brakes that barely worked, tires that couldn't handle the weight. Voss watched the carnage with horror. Emergency rooms filled with chopper crash victims. Kids died riding bikes built in garages by people who'd watched Easy Rider and bought a welder. Newspapers blamed the film. Safety advocates called choppers suicide machines. Voss received letters from grieving parents. Their sons had died trying to build Captain America replicas. He stopped sleeping. The choppers he'd built with such care had inspired a wave of dangerous imitations. In interviews, Vaughn pleaded with people to seek professional help in building custom bikes. Nobody listened. The chopper craze continued through the 70s, leaving wrecked bikes and bodies in its wake. Voss told Peter Fonda he regretted the whole thing. Fonda tried reassuring him it wasn't his fault. Voss never accepted that. He carried guilt about Easy Rider until he died. His masterpieces became his curse. Number 3. The Flag Tank was almost censored. Peter Fonda's Stars and Stripes gas tank nearly didn't make it to theaters. Several test screening audiences found it offensive. This was 1969 America. The country was violently divided over Vietnam. Seeing the American flag on a drug-running hippie's motorcycle enraged conservative viewers. Some walked out. Others demanded the studio remove it. Columbia Pictures executives panicked. They'd invested heavily in Easy Rider. If it offended mainstream audiences, they'd lose millions. They held emergency meetings about repainting the tank. Maybe solid red or blue. Anything but the flag. Dennis Hopper and Peter Fonda refused absolutely. The flag tank was the entire point. America belonged to everyone, not just conservatives. The chopper represented freedom, the real freedom the founding fathers envisioned. Columbia threatened to shelve the film. Hopper called their bluff. He knew they'd spent too much on promotion to quit now. The standoff lasted weeks. Finally, Columbia blinked. The flag tank stayed. When Easy Rider opened, the controversy exploded as predicted. Veterans groups protested. Conservative commentators condemned it. Church groups organized boycotts. The controversy generated massive publicity. Kids who wouldn't have seen it went specifically because adults were angry. Easy Rider became a cultural flashpoint. That flag tank represented everything the counterculture believed. They'd reclaim American symbols from the establishment. The tank that almost got censored became the film's most powerful image. Sometimes the most controversial choice is the right one. Number 2. The choppers influenced Harley-Davidson's survival. Yes, Harley-Davidson was dying in 1969. Sales were collapsing. Japanese motorcycles were dominating the market. Honda, Yamaha, and Suzuki offered reliable, affordable bikes that started every time. Harley's outdated designs leaked oil and constantly broke down. The company was months from bankruptcy. Then, Easy Rider happened. Suddenly, everyone wanted a Harley chopper. Not a Honda, not a Yamaha. A Harley-Davidson, preferably a panhead like the movie bikes. Dealers who'd been desperate for customers had waiting lists. Harley's factory couldn't build bikes fast enough. The company went from dying to thriving in months. Easy Rider didn't just influence custom builders. It saved Harley-Davidson from extinction. The irony is perfect. The choppers in Easy Rider represented rebellion against corporate America. They were built from junkyard parts by an independent builder. They symbolized everything that was the opposite of factory motorcycles. Yet they rescued the most corporate motorcycle manufacturer in America. Harley executives initially hated the film. They thought choppers were bastardizations of their products. Then they saw the sales figures and changed their tune. By the mid-70s, Harley was marketing directly to the chopper crowd. They offered factory customs with extended forks and raked frames. They'd co-opted the rebellion that saved them. Cliff Voss found this hilarious. His anti-establishment choppers became the establishment's salvation. Peter Fonda never knew whether to laugh or cry about it. Captain America, the ultimate symbol of freedom, became a corporate marketing tool. Number 1. A perfect replica sold for $1.35 million. In 2018, a documentary team found Cliff Vaughn's original build notes, photos, and specifications. Everything needed to build a perfect Captain America replica. They partnered with master builder Indian Larry's protege to recreate the stolen original. Every detail was obsessively accurate. They sourced a 1950s panhead engine. They found an original police auction frame. The Springer forks were period-correct units, modified exactly as Voss had done. Larry Fuhrer, the original painter, came out of retirement at 83 years old. He hand-painted the stars and stripes one final time, crying as he worked. The chrome plating was done by the same shop that did the original bikes. They had kept Voss's specifications for 50 years. The build took 18 months and cost over $300,000. When finished, the replica was indistinguishable from the lost original. Peter Fonda, then 78, was invited to see it. He walked around the bike in silence for 10 minutes. Then he threw his leg over and sat on it. Tears streamed down his face. "This is Wyatt's bike," he whispered. "This is Captain America." The replica went to auction at Mecum in 2019. Bidding started at $500,000. It climbed quickly. $1.35 million was the winning bid. The buyer was anonymous, but reportedly a Silicon Valley billionaire who'd watched Easy Rider hundreds of times. He keeps the bike in a climate-controlled garage, never ridden. The most expensive motorcycle ever sold is a perfect copy of a stolen original. Captain America lives again, frozen in time. The Captain America chopper wasn't just a movie prop. It became a symbol of freedom, forever changing motorcycle culture. From backyard builds to million-dollar auctions, these choppers left a legacy nobody expected. If you enjoyed these secrets, smash that subscribe button and drop a comment telling us which fact shocked you most. Keep riding, keep seeking freedom.